welcome to my 30-day sketchbook challenge. We're gonna see if I can improve my sketchbook and YouTube skills in 30 days. Okay, so what are we drawing today? We're kind of on another Stellar Elite world building tip here. Last video turned into that impromptu because I created a new character while drawing. This one was meant to expand on our cute little doctor though. His real name is Balen Lory, and he is the sweetest, dreamiest boy. He hails from the planet Pandana, from a district called Grandine, which is a scenic, affluent, very modern and progressive hood with a building height restriction and many other environmental policies that I have to make up. I'm happily skipping off to my spreadsheets to world build as I write my talking points for these videos. It's kind of fun since YouTube takes so much time since I'm new at it, and I'm kind of losing out on writing Stellar Elite, and that's not good, so I gotta squeeze it in where I can. Anyway, Balen is a hopeless romantic and is definitely a believer in love conquers all. Such a sweetie. He spends a lot of his free time drawing, painting, and writing because he actually wanted to be an artist, but his parents were like, no honey, you're going to be a naval surgeon. Balen is a people pleaser, so he did as his parents wished. Besides that, he had a pretty comfortable, typical nurtured upbringing, all things considered. He has two older sisters, and his relationship with his eldest sister is a bit strained, but he and his other sister were total besties. I don't have names for the fam yet, if you can't tell. Let's just call them the Rents for the parents, and Sam the elder, and Matilda the middle. I don't know, these are the first things that came to mind, seriously. The Rents wanted a boy, and it took them 3 tries to get there. Sam the elder raised Balen and Matilda the middle, and the age gap is larger, so once she left for school and adulting things, she became more distant, unfortunately. I've decided right this moment that at the start of our story, Balen doesn't know this and simply feels bad about his relationship with Sam the elder, and wonders where she went and how she's doing. It will come out later. The Lorys will have a lot of family skeletons come out, and poor Balen will have a lot to deal with going forward in the story. 2 quick disclosures that I probably should have said in my first 2 videos. Basically, if you found me through this challenge, I also do digital art as well as I'm building a print shop business, so you will also see that kind of content going forward after this challenge. Also, I will be returning to uploading once a week every Friday once this challenge is over. Anyway, let's get on to the art now, shall we? I always use the Loomis method to draw portraits, and I see a lot of people contesting this and suggesting other methods all over the internet. Honestly, I'm considering trying something else. I'm kind of sick of this method, but I am also really used to it, so I tend to default. If you're an artist who draws characters and portraits, what method do you use to draw the head? Drop it in the comments, I'm curious. Paint sidebar, today I'm using Winsor & Newton Viridian Hue, Daniel Smith Perylene Green, and Daniel Smith Moonglow. I am obsessed with Moonglow. Wow, love it. Still going on with the monochromatic palette here, and each Stellar Babe actually has their own color because, I don't know, dork alert. Balen is green, Vare is pink, Jetta is purple, and Mr. Redacted is red. Oh, and Jaro is our little baby Bluey. Fun side note, I've now done a portrait of Vare in full color that I am so happy with. We'll see that in the next video. I'll try and incorporate more full color when I'm feeling really confident, but I'd still like to practice the values. They're fun too, and I need it. Continuing to follow the Mmmmonexx tutorials. God, I need to know how to say that in shorthand. I'm following their tutorials religiously, and I'm slowly getting the hang of it. But I still have trouble with value, and I tend to go too dark and add too many layers, and then end up white gouaching my way to victory. Anyone else feel this? Like, I'd be nothing without white gouache. It's like a cheat code. I mentioned in my last video that I have an issue skewing the features during the painting process and end up with crooked results. On this painting particularly, I found that the right eye, on our right, wound up a bit higher, and ultimately they are just smaller looking in the end result. I don't know, they just look off, whereas in the sketch they seem more proportionate. What helped me fix this with my recent portrait, the finally successful Vare painting, is drawing the features that tend to get lost a little heavier, like the eyes, the lips, and the nose. So I'm literally defining those in pencil, like with heavy lines during the sketch phase, and then really paying attention to those lines when painting, especially when you get to the detail phase. That's where I tend to get lost and skew them up. Another thing I'd like to explore is less detail in some areas and more lost edges. I think this is a concept I picked up from Proko, and it's really apparent when I'm painting traditionally. I tend to over detail the hair because it's fun for me to draw, and I overdo it. When sketching, I find myself erasing lines because I've gone too far. Another thing I want to work on, which is similar to preserving proportions, is shadow mapping. I've heard artists refer to this before and kind of vaguely paid attention, but now I get it. Just going in, dabbing shadow from memory or what you think it should be is just not it. I need to draw an outline of the shadow and then really consider my values, because again, I tend to go too dark or too light. It's just really hard to nail that. The other thing I do is kind of hatch in my shadows, which I think I should probably stop doing because it does get really confusing, especially in the eye area and the nose area. So key things to work on are basically less detail, more lost edges in areas, preserving important landmarks and keeping them proportionate during the painting phase, shadow mapping, and values, hopefully adding color in more frequently. Other than those nitpicks, I had a great time with this one and felt pretty accomplished by the end, honestly. I really felt jazzed, like I'm getting somewhere, this is working, it's working, so we're gonna keep going. And yeah, more sparkly paint happened here on the text, and I am including little Stellar Elite logo stickers in character colors. That was me testing out my silhouette die cutting machine, which I am so jazzed about that little baby. More on that to come later. So now we'll just go into a couple minute time lapse and final results, and then we'll be off. If you're liking watching me bumble through watercolor, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to follow along and tune in, maybe consider subscribing. And if you want to draw along, please do, and let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any art supply tips, anything like that, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one tomorrow. Bye! And you know it, a little sparkle sparkle close-up. Look at that fine tech paint shine, love it. Here's the end result. He honestly looks better at an angle, so we're just gonna go with that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!